All right, everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Adventures of Alcaraz. I'm Julian Alcaraz.
I'm Miranda Alcaraz.
And we are on week 35 to 36 now.
I know, and it's very echoey in here. So if you're not watching and you're just listening and you think it sounds different, we are at home in my new office. But there's no furniture or a rug or anything in here yet. It's very empty. And so, yeah, it's a little echoey in here today.
Yeah. Well, this past week has been interesting. Lots, and I mean, it continues to be. Even I remember from last week, so many changes have been made on a day-to-day basis. And now in our state, it's considered lockdown, and they're telling people to limit the amount you go out and do things. And they're changing lots of rules, even to the original birthing plan that we had, which made us feel way more comfortable with this decision that we kind of updated with you guys last week.
Yeah.
So
I think last week they had started making restrictions and people had started working from home for sure last week and everything. But then officially, and they did this in a couple other states before ours, like New York and California, but officially on Monday evening is when they announced the stay home order or whatever it is, to where they're closing all non-essential businesses and stuff like that. So basically people are being asked to stay home completely unless they're going to the grocery store or they work in some super essential business, like at a hospital or the government or something like that. So yeah, I've been home. The only place I've gone this whole week is the chiropractor.
yeah,
I haven't gone anywhere else.
I've done a couple stops. I've definitely gone to the office to check up on the girls who are roommates anyway, and just do a couple Java talks, which has been nice, and just to go to our grocery store to get our stuff. But the beautiful thing is that anytime I go, I kind of timed it so it's not crazy. I don't have to really deal with people much, and two, they have everything that we originally shot for, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah. And then, so that happened on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we panicked when they did that on Monday, and we called because our home, if you guys have been paying attention to our story this whole time, our home has been under a massive renovation, which was already stressful with just being pregnant. But then when we decided to do a home birth, it became even more important that they finish. Mm-hmm. And so on Monday, when they announced that, the first person that we called was our contractor, and we were like, are you guys gonna be able to still come to our house to finish? And on Monday night he's like, oh yeah, this is considered essential, construction is essential. And we're like, oh, thank goodness. So they were here on Monday or on Tuesday as normal, and then on Tuesday night, or was it on Wednesday night? It was on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. They called us and they said, so now we're being told that home renovation is not essential, so we're gonna come tomorrow and do everything that we possibly can, basically for the next 2 days, but then we're not going to be able to come anymore. Yeah. And our house right now, if you're watching, it looks beautiful. We're here in this office, but 2 days ago, or even just yesterday morning, our whole house was still covered in plastic. Mm-hmm. The entire floor was still covered in cardboard and paper. There was dust everywhere. There were doors missing. There was it was a disaster, and we were just they can't leave us like this. They did so much yesterday, specifically just cleaned, so that at least if things are still missing, if there's still light switches missing or things that aren't hung, that's one thing, but we can clean it now. Oh, yeah. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's great. And then obviously some of the other projects too, like plumbing and things like that, are still considered essential businesses, so that's good. They're able to manage a lot of that stuff. There's loopholes to all those things, but at the end of the day, our biggest concern is just making sure that we have our home ready for and clean for our home birth. So
the two things that we're still missing that I was panicking about yesterday were, one, we still don't have a washer and dryer. We haven't had a washer and dryer for 2 months, and to have a home birth and a brand new baby without a washer and dryer is not ideal. And then the other thing, which is kind of still up in the air, I still don't know what's going to happen, is we have no blinds in our entire home. There's no coverings on the windows, which
that'll be interesting.
Is not the best for if you're delivering a baby. Might get a little hood rat and just have to hang some sheets that night or something. I don't know. But our bedroom where we're planning on like doing most of the actual like birthing definitely has some windows that our backyard neighbors could see right into, because we can see right into their house.
Yeah.
Every night they have all their lights on and we can see it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, all in all, like they came and they did so much and it feels so much better already.
Yeah.
And now it's just like organizing and cleaning and things like that on our end mostly.
Yeah, but everything's starting to come together. Like everything flowing surprisingly, which is great.
I feel like we're both talking in like much more soothing voice than we normally do.
Yeah, it's been really cool. Obviously, like now, kind of knowing where Baby B's head's at and really kind of like feeling his body, knowing where he's at has been really nice this past week.
Yeah, you felt it last night. His like butt was like really poking.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So the other things that have been happening, because I do think it's interesting to even just like document this for the future so we can all remember what a disaster this whole thing was, is I still I still need to call them, an appointment at the birth center on Monday, which would have been my 36-week appointment. And they called me about it yesterday and they were like, hey, we're just confirming your appointment for 36 weeks. And instead of canceling it, I was just like, I want to hear what they have to say right now and see what they're about to tell me. So they told me, we're moving new locations because we don't want anyone coming into where moms are going to be actually delivering babies. So we're going to move you to a place that's like right next door to the hospital. And I was like, okay, number one, that doesn't sound great. And it's like further away. And then they were like, also for your appointments from now on, you have to come alone. No one can come with you. And I was like, okay, strike two. That doesn't sound good. And then, yeah, that was pretty much it. But also, so I've talked about a few times on some of the other episodes that my brother's wife is due like exactly around the same time as I am. Her technical due date is May 1st, but she's got some health complications. So they're planning on inducing her on April 18th, which is a week before my due date. And because she does have health stuff, she can't do a home birth. She can't switch, and they're in Utah. Yeah. And my mom told me that my brother was really nervous because this is their first baby. And my brother's very shy and timid and just way too nice. And so they told them that he's the only person that can come to the birth. Yeah. The doula can't come. Like, even if they chose the doula over him, I think the only person that is allowed is the father. And that they will be screening him, both of them. They will be like taking like temperature and stuff upon entering the hospital. And if he shows any sign of a fever or a cough or anything, he will not be allowed to come in. And then they also told them that there's a good chance that as soon as the baby's born that he's going to have to leave. Yeah. And this is their first baby. And he's just like really nervous. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to be the only one there helping her. And I'm sure that the overworked hospital staff and just dealing with people who are like way more anxious than they normally are in birth, which is already really anxious, they're going to be like harder to deal with. Like, I just feel really, really bad for them. It's tough because I like understand the whole situation that we're in and taking care of these people that are super sick and dying. But it does feel like anyone who has any other medical need is being completely kicked to the curb. Like, all these coronavirus things come before anything or anyone else that needs medical help. And that's not the best, I don't think. I don't know what the solution is. I'm not trying to but it sucks.
Yeah, that's why we're just happy that we're having it here. We've chosen, we've experienced birth at a midwifery, which, kind of prepped us. I feel like that just definitely prepped us into this happening, which is great.
Yeah.
Everything it's really good.
So obviously I feel a lot more calm now. I know like I have felt way more connected to Baby B this week. Yeah. You saw me like just crying in the bathtub the other night. because you were like, "What? Why are you crying?" And I was like, he's like telling me that he's coming.
Sure.
And I was trying to explain this to someone else one of our employees, Chris. I was trying to explain to him that feeling, and he asked the same thing that you asked. He's like, "Is he just like, you can tell by the position that he's in?" And I'm like, "No, it's like literally his soul is like telling my soul that he's coming soon." Like there's no other really like way to explain it. And I found I started searching playlists on Spotify, and I found like this pretty cool 9-hour long birth playlist that somebody put together. And I've been listening to it on my walks every night and listening to it in the bathtub and just trying to
get into it.
Yeah. Into that zone.
No, it's been good seeing you more relaxed. I feel it because there was a lot of anxiety that was being triggered from so much uncertainty, and now that everything happened with our doula interviewing the midwives and just taking all those steps and everything just falling into place.
Yeah, I've been feeling good physically for the most part, still sleeping okay. I have heartburn at night, but I think it's just because your mom cooks spicy food. So as long as it's not too spicy, I do okay with that. Last week, we would have recorded this before. So when I weighed myself last week, I hadn't gained any weight. And so it had been 2 weeks since I had gained weight. And I think just with the stress of everything, plus with everything being closed and us not eating out at all, I was a little nervous about that. I know I hadn't been eating dinner a few nights because I'm just not, your belly gets so full. So this week you've been helping me make sure I can see the extra carbs you put in my breakfast.
It's not even extra carbs, it's extra fats
and stuff. Mostly just because I want to make sure that in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever that baby B has a successful nursing situation, because Knox was really good at it, and it's something that I never ever had to worry about. And I know so many people struggle with it, and it was never an issue between me and Knox. And hopefully we can make that happen again with baby B, because that was nice.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, here in 15 minutes, our midwives are going to come to the house.
Yeah.
And do my official 36-week appointment. I don't know exactly what that's going to entail, but they'll probably just check position. They needed to get all my lab work and stuff to make sure that I wasn't just lying about having a healthy pregnancy so that I could have him at home. And so I've given them all that stuff. And I just want to ask them again, what do we need to go buy? What do we need to have here? What are you guys going to bring? Have them look at our bathtub again, make sure it's really going to work. And just get to know them a little bit more. The only other thing that's up in the air and is our doula still living in Wisconsin and having to fly here. I'm pretty mentally prepared for her not being able to come.
It's realistic, to be honest.
Yeah, but we do have a backup doula here. I'll either Zoom call her or meet her in person or something. We'll figure out what's the best. I don't know her personally. She's a member of Street Parking, but she's been helpful on DMs and stuff. And Erica, our doula, has connected with her and talked to her about, even if Erica was planning on coming, if the baby comes early or late, this woman's name is Gina, helping.
Nice.
So there's that. And it's just sad, even talking to my mom, my mom doesn't know when she's going to be out. My parents are definitely in that age range of it's dangerous for them to be around people. My mom doesn't know when she's going to see her grandchild. She doesn't, and especially the whole purpose of her not being here for this birth was to be there for my brother's baby.
But even now,
she's not going to see that baby. She doesn't even know. She's probably at least a month after they come home from the hospital is when it would be safe for me to go meet the baby, when we know that neither of them caught anything and we don't have anything. And I was even talking to Molly last night, and I was like, hopefully you'll meet baby B when he's a baby and not a toddler. She's like, no, I will meet baby B when he is a baby. So we'll see. But we're just trying to stay away from the news mostly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I checked the cases in our area, literally Portland and Vancouver, and that's it. I can't get too crazy into the rest of the world right now. No. I don't plan on going anywhere else, so I just try to keep my mind with what's relevant to our situation.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're gonna just keep moving forward and sometime within the next 3 to 5 weeks or so, he'll be here.
Well, we'll keep you guys updated for sure. That's everything for this week's episode.
And we'll see you at week 37.
Yes.